you startled me.
I didn't know anyone was in here.
And I didn't know you could play the piano.
I only play when I'm alone.
Oh, you shouldn't be so shy. No one is going to compare you with a professional.
But I am a professional.
Oh.
You see, I made my debut at Town Hall a week before the war. Jeffrey Meredith, you see?
Why, it says you were brilliant. Forgive me, Jeffrey, I should have known.
I was going to appear with the Philharmonic. I didn't. But I have the contract to prove that I might have.
But you never play, Jeff. Oh, please, go on. I'd like to hear you.
No. I don't like to be stared at.
I'll look the other way and listen, Jeff.
I'd rather not. I'm not ready to face people yet. Please don't insist.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Thank you. Can you keep a secret?
About 10 minutes.
Dr. Emmett isn't really a doctor at all.
Oh, what is he?
He's a patient, just like Mrs. Patty.
Do you think so?
He's promised to give me a new face for 5 years now.
No, he's a doctor, Jeff. It says so on his office door. He wouldn't lie.
Do you believe a man is what he claims to be?
I'm a trusting soul. I try to believe the best of people.
It is best to believe the worst. If you believe the worst, then the worst is only half bad at best, and the best is no worse than expected. So it's best to believe the worst.
You know, Jeffrey, that's just obscure enough to be profound. What does it mean?
It's simple. When a man says he is wise, you say he's a fool. But if he says he's a fool, you believe him.
Well, only a fool claims to be wise.
Exactly, which proves I'm right. Dr. Emmett is a fool. He claims to be a doctor. Why, the war was over 5 years ago, and where's his miracle?
Some things take a long time to heal, Jeffrey.
I can't wait much longer. I'm getting old. I'll be 26 soon.
And that's ancient. Why don't you forget your appearance and play anyhow, Jeff? Don't condemn your audience before you give them a chance to be kind.
Just look at me, and then tell me that an audience wouldn't shudder at the sight of me. Look. Do you see?
I see nothing to hide, Jeffrey.
Dr. Emmett told you what to say.
No, he didn't. I swear he didn't. But I'd trust him if I were you. Give him a little more time.
All right, I'll give him 5 years more.
Fair enough.
Do you know something else?
Not a thing. I'm awed only by the magnitude of what I don't know.
Now, I wouldn't tell this to anybody else, but Hannibal really can't play the violin.
No.
Yes!
Well, of course, I'm tone deaf.
I'll tell you something else. I sometimes wish I were.
Well, you're a sweet boy to pretend.
Poor Hannibal can't play, yet he does. I really can, yet I won't. Don't you think that's funny?
Not very.
There's a rat in the hall! A rat as big as a mouse! Climb up on a chair quickly, Mrs. Savage!
Fairy May, what am I going to do with you?
You've put me right out of my coffee.
You know there's no rat in the hall.
But Mrs. Savage doesn't. She's sitting here bored, and I intend to make life exciting for her.
Thank you, Fairy. You'll be happy to know that I just aged 50 years. That puts me well over the 100 mark.
Oh, goody, let's have a birthday party. I'll make candles.
You'll sit down quietly and drink your coffee, Fairy.
I ate too much again.
You shouldn't exercise right after your meal, Hannibal.
I know, but if I wait until I'm comfortable, my conscience won't needle me.
Are you sure there have been no calls or messages for me today?
Positive.
Then would it be possible to send to the village and get tonight's newspaper?
If you serve the coffee, I'll ask Dr. Emmett.
Gladly.
Here you are, Bingo.
But, Miss Willie, Florence hasn't been served.
Oh, don't stand on manners, Jeff. Miss Willie knows exactly how you like your coffee. I'll get my own.
Very well. Thank you.
You're annoyed.
You single me out for attention, Miss Willie. It's unfair, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Jeff, I'm so tired tonight. I didn't remember. You'll have to forgive me.
Of course. I forget too.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the best dressed of them all? Fairy who?
Cream in your coffee, Fairy?
Please. Does this dress do anything for me, Mrs. Savage? I made it myself.
It's sheer delight, Fairy. Sugar?
5. But I didn't have time to finish it. I put it together with pins.
Hannibal?
Oh, thank you.
Would you like to know a trick to make that exercise enjoyable, Hannibal?
An enjoyable way of losing weight has yet to be discovered.
Well, I know of an improvement. All you need is a deck of cards.
I went to a fortune teller when I was 14. Everything he told me turned out wrong. I never believed in cards after that.
Fairy, fairy, fairy.
Throw them up in the air.
Why?
To lose weight. Now all you have to do is bend over and pick them up again, one by one.
Oh, I like that. It's tidy.
I learned it in a beauty course.
Thank you, Mrs. Savage. It's a great improvement.
Wouldn't it be easier to pick them up sideways, Hannibal?
Much. Man was made all wrong. Why should his stomach be in front? When he bends, it gets in the way. When he kneels, his legs buckle out instead of folding neatly behind him. And why should his nose be in front? It only gets in the way when he kisses.
Oh, you're so right.
I guess God was in a hurry.
Well, Hannibal, what are we doing now?
We're losing weight.
Would you postpone it for a little while? Would you all go upstairs for a few moments? I need to talk with Mrs. Savage. Oh, and Florence, take the coffee upstairs with you.
I do so hate having coffee upstairs. So middle class. Where's John Thomas?
You may have left him on the phonograph, Florence.
Oh, yes. He simply adores the classics.
Upstairs, downstairs, till I think I'll scream. May I stay, Dr. Emmett? No, you may not.
Miss Willie tells me you're anxious to see tonight's papers. Why?
Habit.
Here they are. It will undoubtedly please you to know you've caused considerable trouble again.
Have I? Oh, Titus on the front page. Senator trapped in White House hothouse.
I've just been talking with him. He's exceedingly angry.
Imagine pulling up all those petunias. What will everyone think?
As a result of this, your position has deteriorated considerably, Mrs. Savage.
And my disposition has blossomed enormously. Anything about Samuel?
Oh, yes. Here's the Boston Post.
Dear, oh dear, poor Samuel. All those bricks right on top of him. Chimney collapses on Boston jurist. Well, for some people, it takes a ton of bricks, you know.
How could they possibly have believed you?
They should be committed, shouldn't they? Nothing about Lily Bell?
Your batting average for mischief is 100%, Mrs. Savage.
What a horrible picture of Lily Bell. This would frighten even Fairy.
According to this, she resisted arrest.
So I see. Female vandal invades museum. Berserk heiress bites police. They really are fools, aren't they, Doctor?
What do you hope to gain, Mrs. Savage?
Better terms.
For your freedom?
For my husband's memorial fund.
Your children believe that money can be put to better use.
Of course, their own. Lily Bell settled over $1 million on her 6 husbands. Titus and Samuel spent as much to secure jobs to which they had no right. Is that better use?
They consider your memorial fund most unorthodox, Mrs. Savage.
That's absurd. There are plenty of charities for foolish people in desperate need, and absolutely none for people with a desperate need to be foolish.
Now, what brought you to that conclusion?
My own life. No matter what we have, we never forget the foolish things we never got. I'm sure that if Hannibal had been given a violin when he wanted one, he wouldn't need one now.
That's quite possible.
I want my husband to be remembered with warmth and gratitude for a few foolish dreams that came true. I will not give up my memorial to him.
I want to discuss this with you further, but at the moment you have visitors waiting. You may come in now, Senator. I'll be just outside, if you want me.
My headache's gone.
How dare you make a fool out of me? How dare you?
You tried to kill me. You knew that old Jimmy would fall if I started playing bricks out, didn't you?
Ugh. We're really not a very bright family, are we?
Oh, you must be proud indeed to see the name of Savage held up to ridicule again.
Did you dig Titus?
8 FBI men jumped me, pushed my face in the dirt, thought I was planting a bomb.
Why didn't you tell the papers the truth? I did. Sleepwalking, really?
You try to think of an excuse with 8 men on your chest.
She loved the chance.
It was learned today that the senator's mother, Mrs. Ethel P. Savage, the actress, was recently committed for irresponsible actions. Democratic Party leaders were quick to point out that this might explain the career of strange behavior in Congress by the senator. Do you know what this does to me politically?
Makes you a mort canard. That's dead duck. French, remember?
I'll never survive it. Never.
They treated me like a common criminal. I was fingerprinted.
I meant to ask you, Lilybell, what is a stuffed porpoise?
Do you know what these papers call us now?
The Mad Savages.
How do you like it?
What happened to those bonds?
What happened to your dignity?
Where is my money?
Where is your self-respect?
May I ask just what you intend to do now?
Are you prepared to listen to my terms, or would you care to dig in Grant's tomb?
We are prepared to compromise.
If that means you'll see things my way, then compromise is the right word.
I will consider effecting a release in the custody of someone for a period of time. It would look better for us.
And I would be willing to give her complete freedom if she would give up acting and lead a dignified life.
Freedom, as Titus can tell you, is the right to make the wrong choice.
And what would we get?
That's what I like about you, Titus. No nonsense. Each of you shall receive a reasonable yearly allowance.
How reasonable?
I shall be generous, but the bulk of the estate must be given away by my fund.
It's completely mad.
We might have this commitment revoked, only to have you play another trick on us. Where would we be then?
Where are you now?
Oh. Then Titus, just get it over with.
Very well. Write a retraction, Samuel.
I'm tired of having my decisions reversed.
When I'm released, I'll keep my promise. But I warn you, don't have me followed.